Hello everyone. Last time we have continued with the first type of fisheries, that is inland or freshwater fisheries, where we have explained about the first type of inland fisheries, that is riverine fisheries, which includes the river system of India, all small or large rivers and their riverets, including small or large water resources of the river system are used for the culture or harvesting of the fish species which are adapted to the freshwater habitat. Now, in this lecture, we are going to study the second type of freshwater fisheries or the inland fisheries, that is pond culture or pisciculture. Fish culture is an ancient industry in India. The records of older civilization shows that it was practiced at still earlier days by the Chinese and the Romans. Capturing of certain type of fishes in wells, garden ponds or the domestic and temple tanks is an old practice in India. It was popular in northeastern states of Bengal, Assam, Bihar and Orissa, which are the main freshwater fish consuming areas. These states have naturally rich soil conditions, comparatively high rainfall, and innumerable water areas in the form of small and large ponds, irrigation reservoirs, and the canals. The environmental factors, coupled with food habits of the people, were high for fish culture of locally available fishes. The old practice was to collect very young ones of the carps, the fry, about 4.25 centimeter long, transfer them to the tanks or the ponds or bunds, enclosed waters. Bunds means enclosed waters. So the old practice was to collect very young ones of the carps of different species called as fries with a length of about 4.25 centimeter, which are then transferred into the tanks or the ponds or the bunds, that is enclosed waters. And when these grow for a year or two, they were netted or harvested for the consumption. Realizing the significant nutritional value of fish in the diet of the people, various states established fishery departments with the aim of exploiting or using the vast water resources by improving fish culture techniques on scientific lines. The fishery departments undertook to improve the techniques for fish seed collection from river system and distribution of fish seed to the interested pond owners or farmers and rearing in a various type of water bodies. To get the best yield of fish through fish culture, the selection of proper species is important. The most suitable species are those which can grow not only fast but also increase in a size, and at the same time select fish species neither will compete with each other for their natural food nor predate. So, while selecting the fish species, the point should be considered that should be fish species should fast growing or can acquire the maximum size, full size or the weight with respect to uh, the satisfactory quantity of the fish so as to satisfy the food need of the people. And at the same time, while selecting the fishes should not compete with each other in the pond or should not predate one another. The age-old practice is to rear a few species of the carps such as katla, rohu, mrigal, kalbasu and a few minor carps. During the last few decades, the idea of rearing fish in a large ponds and tanks on a systematic plan for commercial purpose has taken root in several states. For large scale and successful fish farming, four types of tanks or the ponds are necessary, and they are hatcheries, nurseries, rearing tanks, and main or the stocking tanks. So these are the four type of ponds or the tanks can be prepared for the successful or the commercial practice of the fisheries, and they are hatcheries, nursery, rearing ponds, and main pond or the stocking ponds or the tanks. These have to be prepared about 30 days before the season of the culture begins. So before to begin with the culture practice of the fishes, these four type of ponds or the tanks should be prepared or made available or ready for the fish culture before to begin the culture season. So first type of tank, that is hatchery tank of standard size, is a shallow pond about 13 by 1.5 to 2.4 by zero point 0.6 size. That is the hatchery tank with a standard size, which should be a shallow and with dimensions of about 13-meter length, 1.5 to 2.4-meter width, and 0.6-meter deep or a depth. The water should be cleaned and free from injurious animals and the plant. So water which is used or stored in the hatchery tank should be clean and free from injurious animals and the plants. Spawn consisting of eggs, spawn, that is large quantity of eggs which are laid or released by the adult males and females, that is called as spawn, consisting of eggs or sperms or the fertilized eggs. So spawn consisting of eggs and newly hatched larvae collected from the puddles and pathols of the rivers at the beginning of the monsoon and are then transferred to the hatcheries. Under proper management, not less than 50% of hatchlings could be harvested as a fry. Period of egg hatching and initial stage of larval development is very short. The period of egg hatching and initial stage of larval development is very short, roughly about 18 to 24 hours. The hatchlings or fries, as they are usually called, are fast growing and should be fed daily. When they are 15 to 20 days old and attains a length of 25 millimeter, they are transferred to the nursery tank. These are called as hatchling. So immediately after hatching of the eggs into a small larvae called as hatchlings or of the fry, which grows up to uh, 25 millimeter in length within a period of 15 to 20 days, and after which this should be transferred to the nursery tank. So nursery tank is again about 0.05 hectare in a size and 1 meter deep. Nursery tank, which is somewhat larger than hatchery tanks and having a size of about 0.05 hectare in a size and with a 1 meter deep. The water should be kept clean always. The water should be kept clean in the nursery tank always. Organic and inorganic fertilizers should be added to the water in advance to enable abundant production and growth of the microscopic animals and the plants called as planktons. That is the natural food of the fry, that is plankton, zooplankton or phytoplankton, which is necessary uh, to available made available in the nursery tank for the feeding of the young ones or the fries in the nurseries, and for that purpose the regular addition of organic and inorganic fertilizers in the nursery tank is essential so as to um, enable the abundant growth and the production of the microscopic organisms or the plants in the nursery tank so as to provide adequate feed to the young ones or the fries which are growing in the nursery tank. Then uh, oil cakes, the natural food of the fry, that is plankton. So for the growth of plankton, that is zooplankton or phytoplankton, it is essential to add organic or inorganic fertilizers together with the oil cakes, and the bran of either rice or the wheat is recommended for further growth of the fry and the fingerlings, means the advanced stage of the fish, which is up to 15 centimeter, that is called as fingerlings or the fries. When the fingerlings are 100 to 150 millimeter long, that is 10 to 15 centimeter. When the fingerlings are 100 to 150 millimeter long, that is 10 to 15 centimeter in a length, they are ready to transfer to the rearing tank. A period of about 3 months should be allowed for this phase of the development. So fingerlings with a length of 10 to 15 centimeter should be transformed into rearing tanks where they could allow to grow for about 3 months in the rearing tanks for the further period of development. It is advisable to provide a shade of temporary roof of a leaf thatching to cut off the intense light, heat, rain and the predatory birds. So it is advisable to provide the shade to the rearing tanks or the ponds, which can be made by using a roof of leaf thatching shade to avoid the intense light or heat or the rain and the attack of the predatory birds into the rearing tanks. The recent practice eliminates the hatchery tanks. Hatchlings are introduced directly to the nursery, and pond culture become three-tiered. That is only three type of ponds. That is nursery pond, tank or the rearing tank, and the stocking tank can also be used instead of using separate hatchery tanks. So in a recent practice, uh, the hatchery tanks for the growth of the hatchlings, that is mainly used for the purpose of hatching of the larvae from the spawn or the eggs, is eliminated in a recent practice, and only three type of ponds can be used in fish farm for the pond culture, that is nursery tank, rearing tank and main or stocking tank. The third type of tank, that is the rearing tank, is larger and deeper and should measure roughly zero point 0.1 hectare and 1.5 meter deep. The third type of tank, that is the rearing tank, should be larger in size and deeper than the hatchery or nursery tanks, and should have the measurements roughly, that is a zero point 0.1 hectare size and 1.5 meter depth. The fingerlings are transferred from nursery tank to the into the rearing tank. The fingerlings are transferred from the nursery tank into the rearing tank, which is having size of 0.1 hectare and a depth of 1.5 meter. The main purpose is to condition or settle the fingerlings before transferring them to the main tank. The main purpose of transferring the fingerlings from nursery to rearing tank is to condition or to settle or to adopt the fingerlings before transferring them to the main tank. Each evening, a mock netting is practiced. Each evening, each evening during the period of rearing in a rearing tanks, each evening or every evening, a mock netting can be practiced. The fingerlings are caught. The fingerlings are caught in a small meshed net and released. That is a mock netting. Fingerlings are caught in a small meshed net and released back into the rearing tank is called as a mock netting. And this practice is to condition, this practice is useful to condition them to overcome the shock of capture and final transfer. The mock netting practice is useful to condition the fingerlings to overcome the shock of the capture and final transfer into the main or stocking tank. In the rearing tank, the fingerlings are kept for about 4 to 6 months. So the period of fish seed, that is a hatchling, in a hatchery tank is a smaller period. It is a small period, just of about a month. Then the hatchlings or the fries with a length of 10 to 15 centimeter are then transferred to the nursery, where they are allowed to grow for about 3 months. So the period of growth of the hatchlings or the fish larvae or the fish seed, that is about a month in a hatchery. Then after which the hatchlings or the fries with a length of 10 to 15 centimeter are then transferred to the nursery tank for the period of 3 months. Again, after 3 month growth and development of the fries to become a fingerlings in a nursery tank, then are transferred to the rearing tanks for the period of 4 to 6 months, where they grow bigger and sturdier and assume almost adult size. So, after the mock netting in the rearing tanks, the the fingerlings are kept after netting or mock netting, which are supposed to be transferred to the main or stocking tank. So, in the rearing tank, the fingerlings are kept for 4 to 6 months, where they grow bigger and sturdier and assume or acquire or grows almost adult size. Then fourth type of tank, that is the stocking tank or the main tank. The stocking main tank should be 0.2 to 1 to 2 hectares area with a depth of 2 to 2.5 meters. So these are again the large sized tanks or the ponds called as a main tank or the stocking tank, and with a size ranging from zero point 0.2 to 1 to 2 hectares area with a depth of 2 to 2.5 meters. So this is much larger ponds are called as a stocking pond or the main tank or the stocking tanks with a size ranging from about 0.2, that is 20 R or the half acre area to 2 hectares. 1 hectare means 2.5 acre and 2 hectares means 5 acres. So these are much larger in a size. So the stocking tank or the main tanks which are having the size may be half acre, maybe maybe 1 acre, maybe half acre, then 1 acre, maybe 2.5 acre, or maybe 5 acre. That is 0.2 to 1 to 2 hectare area with a depth of 2 to 2.5 meter depth. In a period of 12 months, the young fishes grow to the marketable size and each attaining a weight of about 1 kilogram. So when the fingerlings, having size of about 15 to 30 millimeter, 15 to 30 centimeter, not millimeter. So fingerlings when grows to 15 centimeter to the 25 or 30 centimeter in the rearing pond, which are then transferred to the stocking tank or the main tank. So the period of growth of the hatchling is about up to a month in a hatcheries, then about 3 months in a nursery, then again 4 to 6 months in a rearing ponds. So this is a period of about 9 to 10 months in the previous three type of tanks, that is hatchery, nursery and rearing tanks, where the fish growth, early development of the fish from hatchling to fries or larvae, then to the fingerlings, that is up to 9 to 10 months in the previous three type of tanks, that is hatchery, nursery and the rearing tanks. The stocking or the main tank where the fingerlings which have been transferred from the rearing tank to the main or stocking tank in a period of 12 months. In a period of 12 months, the young fishes grows to the marketable size and attaining a weight about 1 kg and are ready for the table or to serve for the human consumption. So within a period of 12 months, that is a year, within a period of year, the fish species which are grown in the fish farm or in a pond culture and having been transferred uh, from a series of tanks or the ponds, from hatchery to nursery to rearing tanks or to the main tank, but the within a period of 12 months, within a period of about 12 months, the young fishes grows to the marketable size and each of which attains the weight of about 1 kg and are ready for the table or to serve in hotels or in the kitchens for the feeding human consumption. However, fishes can be reared further. However, fishes can be reared further through the second or third year, but their growth is slower and from a commercial point, it is not economical. So within one year, they grows maximum and grows up to 1 kg size and that could be served or that can be sold in the market. But in a next period, that is a second year or third year, also the fish can be grown in the main or stocking tank and necessary care could be taken while the growth and development during second period of the culture or even third year of the culture period. But their growth is slower and from a commercial point, it is not economical. If these scientific methods are followed, if all the scientific methods are followed during the fish culture in a pond, it is estimated that a pond can yield 3,000 to 10,000 kilograms of the fish per hectare per year compared to 800 kilograms by the old practices. So this is a very much better result of the fishery culture or the pond culture or the fishery production and that is up to 3 ton to the 10 tons per hectare per year. So this is the considerable quantity of the fish grown in the pond culture. So if all the scientific methods or the practices are followed, it is estimated that a pond can yield the 3,000 to 10,000 kilograms of fish per hectare per year, and it is uh, many-fold more when compared to the 800 kilograms by the old practices. Then the important point uh, is again essential while the fish culture or for the successful practice of the fisheries, for the successful practice of the fisheries, for the commercial practice of the fisheries, so as to increase the fishery production, it is essential to use the fish species or it is essential to select the fish species or the varieties for the fish culture or the pond culture. The one of the important technique used in a recent years uh, for the scientific or the advanced type of breeding techniques so as to obtain the large quantity of the fish seed to grow in the ponds or in a fish farms so that fishery production could be increased with a considerable quantity or with the commercial point of view, it is essential to use the advanced breeding techniques of the fish species, so that that could also become advantageous or useful in increasing fishery production of the either pond culture or the pisciculture in a small or large water bodies, inland freshwater bodies or the resources which could be exploited uh, by using the fish seed with desired species with the desired species of the fish species or the varieties, and which could be obtained, the breeding of which breeding activities of which can be practiced on the scientific line, that is the use of induced breeding technique. So now we'll explain the induced breeding technique, what it is actually. So as already seen, carp fishes, that is major carps, grow and mature in a captivity, but they do not breed in a confined water. So each and every species of the fish is again adopted to the particular habitat, that might be a freshwater habitat, brackish water, or the marine water habitat, or the particular water resource, and they grow and mature naturally. They grow and mature naturally in their respective habitat, but they do not breed in a confined water or a different water. In the earlier days, fish farmers used to collect eggs and the hatchlings from the flooded rivers during the monsoon season and using the indigenous methods. So, in earlier days of the fish farming, the fish farmers used to collect the eggs or the hatchlings from the flooded rivers during the monsoon and using the indigenous methods. The collection of seeds from the river system is hazardous. The collection of the seeds from a river system is hazardous, expensive, and unpredictable, together with the difficulties of the weather and flood waters. Besides, the seeds collected, besides the seed collected can neither be sorted species wise nor cultivated with much economic benefits, and thus to overcome these disadvantages or the problems, it is essential to use the induced breeding techniques. So in order to overcome these obstacles or the barriers or the difficulties, in order to overcome these obstacles or these problems, the fisheries research workers carried out experimental work for a number of years till success was achieved in 1957. A few species of major and minor carps were cultivated in ponds or cement cisterns or tanks. Mature and ripe male and female carps of each species were injected with pituitrin. Pituitrin is an extract of the pituitary gland, that is an endocrine organ or the gland popularly known as ductless gland or the master endocrine gland, situated at the base of midbrain. So this is the experimentation. This is the experimentation performed by the various scientists so as to adopt or so as to get the good results for the obtaining the fish seed to overcome the ancient practices or the old practices of the seed collection or the egg collection. So to overcome the problems of the uh, earlier days practices with respect to the collection of the eggs or hatchlings, or to obtain the fish seed for the fishery purpose. So to overcome the disadvantages or obstacles of the previous methods, the scientists or the fishery research workers have carried out the experimental work for a number of years till success was achieved in 1957, and a few species of the major and minor carps were cultivated in the ponds or cement cisterns or the tanks on the experimental basis, where they put the ripe, and ripe male and female carps of the each species and were injected with a pituitrin. Pituitrin is a extract or a hormones extracted or removed from the pituitary gland, that is endocrine gland or an endocrine organ popularly known as ductless gland or the master endocrine gland or a pituitary gland, which is situated at the midbrain, at the base of midbrain. So with the growth of embryology, that is study of development, and the endocrinology, that is the study of hormones and their effects on the biological functions, it is possible to change the rate of reproductive functions. So with the experimentation like this, so the fishery research workers or the biologist who performed the experiments, that is, who kept the mature and ripe males and females of the certain species of the carps and were injected by the pituitary extract, that is pituitrin, containing pituitary hormone of different type. So with the study of uh, with the study of the function or the development, that is a growth and development of the feces due to the injection of the pituitrin hormone or uh, the pituitrin, that is a extract which is derived from the uh, endocrine gland, that is pituitary gland, and the effect of which are observed through the experimentation on the mature and ripe male and female calves in isolation, and they studied the growth or development of embryology together with the study of endocrinology, that is the study of effect of hormones on the different biological functions, including the rate of rate of reproduction or the rate of reproductive functions among the experimental species of the feces. So, with the growth of embryology and endocrinology, it is possible to change the rate of reproductive functions, and one can manage or one can adopt the advanced techniques of the induced breeding technique with the use of the different hormones, so as to increase the breeding rate, that is capacity of laying eggs or capacity of laying gametes by the adult males and females, so as to obtain the large quantity of the or large number of fish seed or the young ones, so as to culture them or grow them in the fish farm to to get the better results of the fishery production in the commercial practice of the fisheries. The administration of pituitary hormone helps. The administration of pituitary hormone helps to accelerate the gonadal development. So the pituitary hormone or the pituitary extracts containing the pituitary hormone, which have the better influence or the effect on the development or the development of the gonads and the reproductive functions in the fish, and thus the administration of the pituitary hormone helps to accelerate or to increase the gonadal development, and in the female feces the egg mature and become ready for spawning. In the female feces the egg mature and become ready for spawning, while the male sheds its spermatozoa into the water. While the male sheds or the releasing spermatozoa or the male gametes into the water, where the fertilization of the eggs takes place, and this method is called as induced breeding. So, induced breeding technique or induced breeding means the injections of the certain hormones, reproductive hormones or the sex hormones, may be androgens or testosterone, estrogen. So these are the some of the important hormones or the sex hormones which can be obtained from the pituitary gland or the pituitary extract called as pituitrin, which are then injected to the fish species, that is to the adults and adult males and females, and which are then allowed to breed in isolation, and the results of which are far better or much better, and having improved the laying capacity, that is a release of large quantity of eggs. Uh, or the spermatozoa by the adult females or the males due to the influence or the effect of the pituitary hormones or the certain reproductive hormones, luteinizing hormones or the sex hormones which are in the form of pituitrin or the pituitary extract having direct effect on the growth of the gonads and thus increasing the capacity of the gonads or the adult males and females to produce, to mature and to release the eggs and the sperms into the water. So this will increase the breeding rate or the breeding activities or the reproduction rate is thus increased many-fold due to the injections of the pituitary hormones like pituitrin, and this technique is called as induced breeding. Fertilized eggs swell up into boat-shaped mass inside which the embryo develops. So this is the next phase of the breeding or the process of fertilization followed by the development. That is, fertilized eggs then undergoes embryonic development and they get swelled up, become boat-shaped mass, and inside which the embryos of the fish develops. The larvae hatch out in about 10 to 15 hours. The larvae hatch out in about 10 to 15 hours and can be reared in a hatchery or a hatchery tank. By selecting the male and female of particular species, millions of pure hatchlings of the each species can be raised. So this is what the advantage of the induced breeding technique. The larvae which will hatch, the larvae which will hatch out of the fertilized eggs within a period of 10 to 15 hours and can be reared or grown in a hatchery tank, and by selecting the male and females, by selecting the male and female of a particular species, by selecting the male and female of a particular species, millions of pure hatchlings or the fish seed of each species can be raised or obtained in the hatchery tank, and which then can be supplied or provided to the pisciculturist or the farmers for the commercial practice of the fishery, so as to grow them in their fish farm, or which are then grown or cultured in a nursery tank or the rearing tank or the main tank in the actual fishery practice, where they are allowed to grow further and to become a marketable size. A new kind of induced breeding technique is also under experimentation in India. So similar to the injection of pituitary, the example of ovaprene. So ovaprene is a injection or containing hormones and is given or injected to the certain species, females of the certain species, and this gives much better results in a spawning, in a increased rate of spawning, that is, laying capacity of the females thus get increased due to the injections or the use of certain hormones like ovaprene, or the injections like ovaprene can be given to the females of the certain species of the fishes, and which are then allowed to breed in a artificial ponds with a male and female together, so as to stimulate the spawning followed by fertilization and the development of the hatchlings or the last fish seed for the culture purpose. So a new kind of induced breeding is under experimentation in India, and that is administering the use of human chorionic gonadotropin HCG. That is, administration of or injections of the use of human chorionic gonadotropin, short form of which is HCG. So HCG is a hormone produced by placenta of developing embryo in the uterus. So human chorionic gonadotropin. So this is again the liquid or the particular biochemical derived from the placenta. So this particular fluid, that is human chorionic gonadotropins. So this is the hormone produced by the placenta of the developing embryo in the uterus and is excreted out through the urine of the mother during pregnancy. So, with the collection of the urine, with the collection and use of this urine of the pregnant woman containing HCG, right? So, the placenta producing the human chorionic gonadotropin, placenta producing the human chorionic gonadotropin, that is a hormone released or produced by the placenta of developing embryo in the uterus of uh, female and is excreted out through the urine of mother during the pregnancy. So, the urine containing human chorionic gonadotropins and these chemicals can be used. So, the urine containing this HCG of the pregnant woman is similar to the luteinizing hormone of the pituitary gland. So, HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin, is similar to luteinizing hormone of the pituitary gland. Luteinizing hormone means the LH, that is a female sex hormone, which is the secretion of the master endocrine gland, and it is essential to stimulate the gonads to undergo the process of gametogenesis to produce the gametes, that is eggs and spermatozoa. So, luteinizing hormones are the hormones secreted by the pituitary gland, and HCG is similar to the luteinizing hormone of the pituitary gland. So, in a recent days in India, the human chorionic gonadotropins, that is HCG, obtained from the urine or the placenta of the placenta or the urine from the pregnant ladies can be used uh, in the fish culture so as to stimulate the fishes or the desired fish species to improve the breeding activities, that is growth, development or the maturation of the gonads and increased rate of production of eggs and spermatozoa or their spawning, right? So HCG is similar to luteinizing hormone of the pituitary gland and which promotes or the stimulates the development of gonads, their growth, maturity and the spawning. HCG has several advantages over pituitrins. Human chorionic gonadotropins have several advantages over the pituitrins and it is used with a great success in West Bengal, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, showing prolific spawning or increased rate of spawning in a major carps and also in a silver carps. Another interested method, another interesting method uh, in the breeding technique, that is the Bandh breeding, may be mentioned. Another interesting method, the Bandh breeding method, may be mentioned or may be considered. Here among fish culturists, natural fish breeding habitat is simulated in the man-made environment. Here, among fish culturists or the farmers, natural fish breeding habitat is simulated or prepared in the man-made environment called bandh. So accumulated rainwater from large catchment areas, of the bandh over through limited sluice opening or the gate, male and female brood fishes are introduced into the bandh waters. Male and female brood fishes, male and female brood or the adult fishes are introduced into the bandh waters, which is containing the rainwater which have been collected and stored or enclosed from the catchment areas in the bandh. The fresh supply of rainwater, is believed to induce the fish species to spawn naturally. So it is considered that the fresh rainwater is useful to stimulate or to induce the spawning among the fish species, and this is what the natural breeding habit found among the most species of the fishes. So, in a bandh breeding, the fresh supply of rainwater is enclosed or stored into the bandh, that is artificial ponds or the man-made environment similar to the natural habitat for the breeding purpose, and where the male and female fishes are introduced into the bandh waters containing the stored rainwater. The fresh supply of rainwater is believed to induce them to spawn naturally. Eggs and fry are then collected from such bandhs. Eggs and fries, that is hatchlings or the fish seed, are collected from such bandhs and are then used for further rearing and stocking in a fishery practice. Composite fish culture is a recently evolved technology to produce high yield. Composite means cumulative. So several fish species of desired species of the fish can be grown uh, together, called as a composite fish culture. So, in a recent days, composite fish culture is evolved technology or used technology to produce high yield of the fishery production. Instead of single species, only 5 or 6 species of the carps can be grown together in one tank. Instead of growing single species, instead of growing or culturing single species, only 5 or 6 species of the carps are grown together in one tank, and 5 to 8,000 fully grown fingerlings of the different species in a right proportion are introduced in a 1 hectare water area or the tank. The tank should be kept clean, predatory fishes and dangerous weeds to be removed by modern chemical or biological control methods, and to determine the quality of soil and water in the tank, modern scientific analysis can be done. If any deficiency may be corrected by adding or by the addition of the organic and inorganic fertilizers periodically in the ponds. The fingerlings should be fed daily. The fingerlings or the young fishes should be fed daily if all conditions are maintained. If all conditions are maintained in a fish farm or in a pond, the better fish yield could be obtained. So the last point is uh, the composite culture. In this case, uh, several species of the fish or the carps can be grown simultaneously in the same pond. Instead of growing or culturing a single fish species, several species of the fish species or the carps in a right proportion can be introduced in 1 hectare water area or the pond, and uh, the tank should be kept clean, predatory fishes and dangerous weeds to be removed by the modern chemical and biological methods or measures. Then, to determine the quality of soil and water in the tank, modern scientific analysis could be done, and if any deficiency in the water, which may be corrected by the addition of organic and inorganic fertilizers periodically, so as to maintain the good habitat or the good condition, ideal conditions for the proper and normal or the maximum growth of the fish in the pond. The fingerling should be fed daily, and if all conditions are maintained properly, the better fish yield could be obtained as a result of pond culture or the pisciculture. So this is about uh, the pond culture, that is a second type of inland fisheries. Second type of inland fisheries are the freshwater fisheries. The first was riverine and second is the pond culture or the pisciculture, together with the induced breeding technique or the composite culture measures. Today we'll stop here, and next time we'll continue the next type of fisheries. Thank you.